Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. So the market yesterday was absolutely nuts. And I'll make a separate video for what happened with the S&P 500, but for now I wanted to focus on crypto. I wanted to focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum. I wanted to focus on, Doggy making such a ridiculous move today, which is kind of nutty. But I did promise you guys a video on crypto if I got, over 50 likes, I think in like my my last third video that I just released or something. And I actually did release the video. I actually did release it. I released it yesterday morning. But I actually didn't have any sound. I didn't have my sound recorded, right? I mean, now I actually have it turned on, which is fantastic. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be able to hear me right now, but I went into, it was more of a really in-depth, more of a better in-depth analysis on on crypto as a totality of the market, and also, just running certain things in a specific way, historically, right? With that being said, before I start the video, please give me a like. It helps out the algorithm on YouTube to push my videos out to a lot more people. It's definitely been working recently. You guys have been doing such a dope job, dude. I mean, Jesus, all the likes have been coming in, 20 likes, 50 likes, 60 likes. It's insane. I never had these many likes on a video before, which is nuts. So if you guys can please give me a like on this video, it definitely helps push out my videos to other people that would enjoy them just as much as you guys. So, it's super awesome, by the way. Thank you all for all the support. I will be dropping the Patreon link in the description and also in the comments below if you guys would like to join, where I do, more high-level analysis. I teach you guys how to trade, and, it's just general, it's just super, super fun. But also, it's definitely a way to educate yourself, right? And I basically just show you guys everything that I know, right? Any kind of high level analysis, any kind of, forecasting, or access to the indicators that I built, or just anything else, right? That's all available there. But with that being said, let's talk about crypto and why October 31st, right, can be the potential bottom, and why after October, why after this month closes, right? Why after this month closes on the 31st, I am gonna be extremely comfortable calling the bottom of crypto, and I'm gonna give you guys exactly why I think that, right? And it's very, very, very simple process. Like I've told you guys before, there are no coincidences in the market. Oftentimes, things don't match up exactly one-to-one, but a lot of the times, that the whole saying, things don't often match, but they rhyme, right? And that's generally with human psychology, right? It's just everybody's affection towards comfortableness, right? And towards sameness is there, and it kind of subconsciously translate into the markets itself. So and to prove that to you guys, right, the very first time on my indicators that we actually closed a perfect entry for the month, right, which is a bullish month, right? Bullish month, this little red dot here. See if I can actually right, so bullish month, which is that little red dot there. Bullish month. Let me see if I can zoom in here. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's a little red dot right there. There you go. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but little red dot under the zero line or at the zero line, and you have the stochastic at lows. What happened, right? Immediately after that happened, you basically stayed trading sideways for a while, right? But that was the beginning of the actual bull rally to the upside, right? That was the beginning. And you ended up going to peak price, right? You actually ended it at the week month, right? On December 2017, you peaked at a high of almost $20,000, right? And then you hit a low, right? Of, then you went back to a low of 3K and on to the next bullish trigger, right? And you did that on exactly 975 days after you closed that bullish month, right? And then let's do the interesting part. Let's see where it gets extremely interesting and why this is kind of nutty, right? Again, perfect entry on the bullish month, right? You close the bullish month, right? Stochastic at lows, perfect entry. What happened? Exactly 976 days, you hit peak highs, right, on November 1st, 2021. And that's where the immediate drop happened, right? Which is kind of nutty, the fact that you actually hit peak highs literally one day after the previous cycle. And then guess what? You kept rallying until the next bull push, right? and then it took this whole cycle took 1,430 days from bullish trigger to next bullish trigger, right? That's roughly, geez, that's like 4 years, man. It's like 4 years, right? That's 4 years left to right? From bull trigger, from perfect entry on bull trigger to perfect entry on bull trigger, right? And again, what happened? Perfect entry on bull trigger, and now you ended up rallying, right? Immediately after, you rallied exactly for 976 days, and then you peaked at that 70K mark. And again, you drop back down, and now you're going to enter a perfect bull month 1,310 days later, which is roughly $100, like 100 days apart. That's nothing, man, guys. That's nothing. The immediacy and the you know, like the sameness of this is like ridiculous, right? So again, same exact thing. This is why, you know, me and my Patreon chat, I've been DCAing for this whole month. Has been absolutely nuts. I've been DCAing into my crypto portfolio this whole month. I'm starting to add a bunch of long dated calls for Bitcoin miners. So for Mara, BitF, you know, HUT, BTBT, all those things have some ridiculous multiples that they can do. But, right, again, usually what happens when I do a forecast is I usually take the previous run or the cycles, and I do, you know, just regular math, right, just subtraction, and you actually get this amount of days. You get around 1,200 days from where we are now to another, where my rough estimate is of a next bull trigger, right, which is where the next cycle would start here around January 2026, which is where we pump all the way up, right? So we would essentially run from October 31st, right? We would hit peak Bitcoin prices on July 2025. This is the month of July, right? So anytime in the month of July, as of right now, I'm predicting or forecasting that we could potentially hit peak highs somewhere around July 2025, right? And that's the forecast that I'm going to stick with, right? At some point here, we're going to be at highs, and then we're going to drop all the way down in a couple of months, right? And we're going to start that cycle all over again, right? And again, this can happen, you know, in 1,200 days. It can happen in 1,400 days, right? It's just a rough estimate, right? We can have this, we can move it to the right like 200 days, whatever, same thing. It's not really that far apart, right? But again, every single time that this happens, you're closing a perfect entry on my indicators, or what I consider a perfect entry. And my forecast, right? My forecast for the next Bitcoin price is, whoops. So the first time you actually ran, I was gonna just say the number, but I'll do the little bit of TA for you guys, right? So first time it ran, you went up. Yeah, the first time we had that trigger, you ran up $20,000, right? Second time you had that trigger, like around here, you know, you went up like $65,000, right? You went up in 974 days, you went up in 976. Again, it's basically the same thing. Usually what I do when it comes to forecasting, and when you have a visible pattern to the upside, right? I don't like using percentages, because obviously we're not going to run up 17x on Bitcoin again. We're not going to run up 37x on Bitcoin again, right? There's a couple of things that you can actually do. You can either forecast this to run, you know, a $20,000 push from here. You can forecast this to run a $65,000 push from here. I actually end up looking to forecast. I actually end up looking at how big these pushes are. And I end up, you know, just doing the quick math of what the difference is, right? So 65 minus 20K gives you 45K, right? So I would have to add 64 to 45, right? Or 65 to 45, right? Which gives us a, you know, 65 plus 45 equals 110, right? So by July, by July, right here, by July 2025, from where we are now, we are going to run up. Personally is what I think. We're going to run up $110,000, which would give us somewhere in the point of 130K. Whoops, right there, I think is, there you go, 110. So we'll get rid of this forecast. We'll get rid of this. And this is my forecast for July of 2025. This is where I think that Bitcoin will be, you know, around sure that area. That's where I think we're going to go. Sure, I'll make this lower. That's where I think we're going. I think that after October 31st, after 976 days, I think that by July 2025, we're going to be at $130,000 Bitcoin. And then obviously there's like more percentage drops. You know, you can see like another, let me see, what was the drop here? We'll forecast a drop right now for you guys, right? Super easy to do, right? How much did we drop? And this one is actually based off of percentage, right? So you dropped 80%. And it actually feels like your drops are feeling lower and lower, right? So you dropped around 70%, right? So the difference is 80, 70. I would assume that from here, you know, after those 976 days and we peak, you're going to be dropping like a 60% max, right? And at that point, you probably have a lot of more, you know, at that point, you probably have a lot more, what is it called? Jesus, why can't I think about the word? A lot more like acceptance of crypto. There's probably a lot more people that know about crypto, right? There's probably big brands that are accepting crypto. At that point, there's a lot more, it's a lot more mainstream, right? So I would not be surprised to see like a $60 drop only, right? And a $60 drop would put us back at, or a 60% drop, right? By there would roughly put us at a $52,000 Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, you know, we essentially rally from here all the way to, you know, July 2025 for a peak of like 130K Bitcoin, and then you drop all the way back down to like a 52K Bitcoin, right? That's essentially what is happening right now, or what I am going to be forecasting. 52,285. We'll do that. 52,285. We'll make this red. Whoops. Just so we have a really solid idea of what's going on. This can be my Bitcoin chart forever. We'll get rid of this. That's basically what's going on, right? We'll leave this here. We'll mark it like this. That way we know exactly what forecast is, right? That this is, whoops. Gotta delete that because I didn't get it wrong. But yeah, that was basically the video. It's just a high, it's more of a like historical high analysis way of looking at things and how certain things can happen in the next, you know, 2.5 years, which is where I really think that we are headed, right? And again, take this with a grain of salt. Can I be right? Sure. Can I be wrong? Of course I can. This is where I think we're headed in the next 2 years. And this is what I think after we close this bullish month, this is where I think we'll find the ultimate bottom. And then I think we're headed to 130, coming back to 52K. And then we're going to start this process, you know, all over again. And I would not be surprised if it plays out like this for the next 30 years. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.